So for this exercise, you can use a broomstick or a Swiffer stick, whatever, or if you have a PVC pipe, awesome, you can use that. So we're gonna go over hip hinge progressions. So this is really important when you're thinking about deadlifting in the gym, and some of the exercises that I prescribe here require the understanding of a hip hinge. And that is understanding how to dissociate your spine from your pelvis / your hips, okay? So a lot of the times when I see people doing hip hinge work, they're bending too much here. So this can give you a really good feedback of how to move through the hips and not through the spine. I want to clarify though that when you're living in your daily life, hip hinging is something useful, but you should be able to bend throughout your spine to pick up laundry, to do everything that daily life throws your way, rather than constantly thinking to yourself, oh God, I need a brace and I need a hip hinge down. This is really useful in the context of needing to know how to hip hinge. This isn't at all an expectation of how you should go about living your life trying to hip hinge your way through every movement that requires bending. So with this, you want to have the back of your head, your upper back, and your tailbone in contact with the PVC pipe. There should be some gaps, like in my low back. You'll see there's a gap between my neck and the PVC pipe. There's also a gap. What will help is that when you're hip hinging, all those points of contact that you initially had should stay in contact with the PVC pipe. So if you were to round, you would lose that lower point. If you were to arch too much, you would lose the middle point. So you're going to have your feet about hip width apart, slightly wider if you need. You can toe out, that's okay. I want you to keep your knees soft, and you're going to think about bringing your butt back towards the wall behind you. And the PVC pipe is going to stay exactly as is, and then you're going to come upright. And again, maintain that position on the PVC pipe. So another rule of thumb is where your weight shifts in your feet. So if I were to come back and fall on my heels, my toes would come up and I would start to fall back. It's very unlikely that you'll fall too far forward off your heels in this, but that is a possibility. So what you want to make sure of is that you have points of contact on your feet on the ground. So ball of big toe, ball of pinky toe, and your heel should remain in contact with the ground the whole time. So even when you start, think about shifting your weight in a way where you have even pressure throughout all those points. Then you're going to soften your knees, and that'll help those pressure points stay even more grounded. And then simply just fold at the hips. And you may feel tension coming on in your hamstrings, which is exactly what you would want to feel. And then come up. Push your hips back, and then come up. So you're thinking about folding at the hips, chest is going to get closer to the ground, but you're not getting closer to the ground by squatting. You're getting closer to the ground simply by your hips moving back. If you look at my knee position, my knee angle doesn't change at all. My shins stay pretty vertical. They stay perpendicular to the ground pretty much the whole time. The only thing that's getting me closer to the ground is my hips moving backwards. A kneeling hip progression or regression can be really helpful to learn how to properly hip hinge. I would say keep one hand on your stomach and one hand on your chest, and you want to make sure that those kind of stay in line the whole time. So they're not approximating and they're not getting further away from one another. They're going to stay exactly as is. Your feet can be, however, they can be down like this or they can be up like this, whatever's more comfortable, and you can put a pad under your knees if you need. What I want you to focus on is just simply getting your butt towards your heels. And notice how my chest and my stomach points stayed exactly the same. I'm going to hinge back, and then I'm going to come upright. Hinge and come upright. Or sit back and come upright. Either one is okay, because you are folding at the hips in both. But if you are going to lead with the butt like this, you just want to be really mindful that you're not arching. And so that's when the PVC pipe can come in handy again. Points of contact behind the head, upper back, and my tailbone or my sacrum. I'm going to hinge and then come up. I haven't lost any contact points. If you really want to explore deeper hinging, you're just going to hinge deeper and make sure that you stay in contact with the PVC pipe. So one of the more challenging hip hinge progressions is going to be in more of the split squat position. And you are going to do the same thing that you were just doing kneeling on the ground if you did do that one, where you were here, but now you have one knee up. You still want to aim to get your butt back towards that heel behind you. It's okay if you can't fully sit back. I don't want you to compromise getting your low back involved. I want you to be very aware of where your hips are ending the movement. But notice how my front leg will rock back. You can use the PVC pipe for this one as well. This looks like from the other